Welcome to today's Explainer. Listen, if traditional schooling just didn't quite click for you, or if you're feeling totally overwhelmed by the absolute avalanche of information on the internet these days, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're completely dismantling how we learn. We're going to explore a truly revolutionary approach to taking back control of your own education. It's called the SELF Education Framework. Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Elon Musk. So, what do these legendary minds actually have in common? Well, the traditional system pretty much wrote them off as dropouts. Ford left school at 15, Disney at 16, and Musk, he was teaching himself how to program when he was literally 12 years old. While everyone else was sitting in a classroom busy memorizing whatever they were told to memorize, these guys chose self-education. They completely took it upon themselves to learn and grow, and because of that, well, history calls them legends. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the shelf-help problem, and then we'll dive right into the 4 parts of the S-Self framework: select, extract, live it, and forge. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the shelf-help problem. The author of our source framework actually shares this wildly powerful backstory. Picture this. After a really tumultuous youth finding himself in and out of jail and eventually landing in rehab, he spots this random yellow book on Java programming just sitting on a desk. He literally taught himself to code from that one single book. And that one resource put him on a trajectory to build and successfully exit 3 different tech companies before he even turned 35. I mean, that is the raw power of true, focused self-education. But here's the massive trap that most of us fall into. We inherited this completely flawed learning method from school, and it leads directly to a concept called shelf help. What's that? It's the act of reading a ton of business books, binging podcasts all day, buying expensive online courses, and then doing absolutely nothing with the information. You just sort of put it on the metaphorical shelf. Listen, if you've got a digital graveyard of untouched courses, you are not the problem. The method you inherited is the problem. Moving on to Section 2, select just-in-time learning. Okay, so school basically taught us just-in-case learning, right? Memorize these random historical dates or math formulas just in case they ever come up in your adult life. And spoiler alert, they rarely ever do. Successful business leaders, on the other hand, use just-in-time learning. You learn the exact specific skill you need to solve the problem that is sitting right in front of you today. And because of that, the retention is incredibly high because your focus is entirely locked onto immediate execution. So here is the absolute golden rule. Before you start reading a new book or clicking buy on a new course, you have got to ask yourself this vital question. What problem is this helping me solve? If you can't clearly point to the problem in your life or business, you don't actually need that info right now. It's just entertainment. If you can't point to the problem, you're just falling straight back into that shelf-help trap. Now, to figure out exactly what you should be selecting, we can use AI as a total unfair advantage. Instead of just asking AI some basic questions, you actually prompt it to interview you. It's brilliant. Step 1, you tell an AI, like Claude or ChatGPT, what your current struggle is. Step 2, you instruct it to interview you so it can understand your exact gaps and goals. And finally, Step 3, the AI goes off, does a deep research project, and hands you a highly customized spreadsheet of resources, books, podcasts, specific creators, tailored precisely to your just-in-time problem. And remember, you don't pick all of them, you just select one. All right, Section 3, extract, study, don't read. Let's be honest, most people consume a business or self-help book like it's a fiction novel, front to back, entirely passive consumption. It's kind of like fast food for the brain. You get this quick little hit of motivation, you feel good, but nothing actually changes in your life. Studying, on the other hand, that is an obsessed hunt for implementation. You aren't just reading, you're actively searching the pages for things to execute. So to extract effectively, you need to follow these 4 non-negotiable rules. 1. The daily dose. Do not try to read 100 pages at once, just read 10 pages a day to keep it manageable. 2. Come prepared. Have a dedicated study space, grab your highlighters, and be ready to capture inspiration. 3. Rewrite the core concepts in your own words. And 4. Pick one, just one, action item. You're not trying to boil the ocean here, folks. You are literally just hunting for one single tactic to get 1% better today. Let me actually show you why rule number 3, the rewriting part, is so incredibly powerful. The author notes that they keep this massive running document on their phone where they rewrite everything that deeply resonates with them.
For example, they synthesized this whole complex ancient Greek philosophy down to just one simple phrase: exhaust the body, tame the mind. Now, that wasn't the original quote, but by rewriting it in their own words, they fully internalize the actual concept. It becomes a permanent part of how they think.
And hey, why is that daily dose of just 10 pages so absolutely crucial? Well, it all comes down to this really fascinating scientific term called motor learning consolidation. Basically, when you study a small, highly focused amount of information and then go to sleep, your brain spends the entire night resorting and restructuring all that data. You literally wake up the next day with better skills and a refreshed mind, ready to hunt for the next idea. Cramming for hours? It just doesn't let this biological magic happen. Moving into section 4, Live It, the 48-hour rule. To truly avoid falling back into shelf help, you have to remember this. Momentum comes from movement, not from motivation. You absolutely must set a strict deadline for yourself. If you learn a brand new tactic or an action item and you don't put it into your calendar, and I mean your actual calendar, not some random to-do list, within 48 hours, it expires. You lose the momentum, the inspiration fades, and it goes right back onto the shelf to die. Now, how do you actually prove to yourself that you understand something you just learned? Consider this pretty famous study out of Yale. Researchers went around asking people if they understood how zippers work. And of course, everyone said yes. I mean, we use them every day. But when they were asked to actually explain step by step how the mechanism functions, they couldn't do it. This perfectly reveals the illusion of knowledge. We so often think we know something just because we passively consumed it, but the truth is, we really don't. To completely shatter that illusion of knowledge, you use something called the mirror test. By the way, this is exactly how medical doctors are trained. It goes, learn it, do it, teach it. Teaching is the mirror. When you study something, knowing you're going to have to explain it to someone else tomorrow, your entire focus shifts. You can try this by simply offering to teach a new concept to a friend. Or amazingly, you can use AI voice tools today. You can literally speak your explanation out loud to an AI on your phone and ask it to grade your understanding against the original source text. It's crazy. If the AI or your friend can't accurately repeat the idea back to you, well, you haven't truly learned it yet. And finally, Section 5, Forge, the path to mastery. Integrating your new knowledge is great, but truly forging it requires a massive mindset shift. Think about it like this. Amateurs practice a skill until they get it right, just once. And then they celebrate, pat themselves on the back, and move on. Professionals practice until they literally cannot get it wrong. They run that SELF loop over and over and over again until landing the trick or flawlessly executing that business strategy becomes second nature 99% of the time. Honestly, there is perhaps no better illustration of this kind of obsessive, singular focus than this iconic quote from Bruce Lee. He said, "I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times." I mean, that hits the nail on the head, right? That is the exact dictionary definition of mastery. It's not about learning 10,000 random things just in case. It is about taking the one single thing you selected and forging it. And listen, true mastery takes incredible, relentless dedication. Let's look at the actual math here. Level 1 mastery, which you've probably heard popularized by Malcolm Gladwell, starts at 10,000 hours. But honestly, that's just the beginning. Level 2 is 1,000 days of nonstop dedication, which is about 24,000 hours. Level 3 is 100 months, roughly 73,000 hours. And true mastery, that is a full decade of singular focus, well over 80,000 hours. This is the exact level of dedication of a professional wake surfing coach, or even the author of our framework. He started a YouTube channel with the goal to just practice this loop for a decade, hoping for maybe 100,000 followers eventually. Today, because he stayed dedicated way past those initial 10,000 hours and ran the SCLF loop consistently, he has over 3 million followers. The takeaway here is huge. You can completely change the trajectory of your entire life in 1,000 days if you just stay focused. Let's bring it all full circle. Remember those legends we talked about right at the beginning? Ford, Disney, Musk. They didn't sit around waiting for someone to give them permission. They didn't need a perfectly curated curriculum. And today, with AI literally at our fingertips, we have absolutely zero excuses left. One single book in rehab changed an entire life. Just imagine what unlocking this framework could do for yours. Not just to passively read, but to obsessively study. Not just to study, but to live it within a 48-hour window. And not just to do it right once, but to forge it into true mastery. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought.
Take a hard look at the biggest problem sitting in front of you right now. What is the one thing you are going to go and study today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and take control of your education.